Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Classic Comics. Today I'm reviewing Wonder Woman number 759. This issue is by Mariko Tamaki with art by Michael Janin. So the cover, it's okay. Don't love it, don't hate it, whatever. Now, this is one of those jumping on issues where a new creative team comes on board and takes the character in some new direction or starts some new big story arc. Now, we start with a montage, basically, that tells us, about Diana, who she is, who she's fought, all that. And we get this very stilted prose, just... Princess Diana of Themyscira, an ambassador, came here from an island of warriors to fight for humanity. And humanity took her up on that. Of course, when you're as powerful as she is, like an atom bomb but made of stuff stronger than any human could manufacture, even when you fight with an army, you fight alone. It's you versus the forces that would destroy you. The scope and weight of the battles that heroes fight is beyond anything humanity could dream of facing. She fought the god of war. Imagine fighting a battle against the god of war, being just one of many. For her, it is. She also fought a man named Max Lord, an ordinary man who became powerful, could control minds. An ordinary man who tried to stop a hero. A hero whose power he saw as a threat to humanity. Max Lord, like many others before him, failed. And now Wonder Woman's hero's journey continues. Wow. Okay. Sure. Why not? Okay, so then we get a bunny wabbit. We get a bunny wabbit hopping hippity-hoppity down the hall and hippity-hoppity into the apartment, and it's Diana's new apartment. It's moving day. She's moving in, and she sees the rabbit, and then the rabbit's owner shows up. The bunny's owner shows up, and this is Diana's new neighbor, and she's funny and quirky, because she's got pink hair, and, she wears it down over one of her eyes. And they kind of, meet and have this sort of cute, awkward conversation, although it's not really that cute. And then they go shopping because Diana needs furniture. She needs a sofa. So they go shopping. And Diana doesn't seem to understand furniture stores. She seems to be having trouble with it, which seems odd. Then as they're coming out of the store, they see this SUV taking off, and there's this man yelling at his wife, Sarah, stop! And then Wonder Woman runs after the SUV. And the woman driving the SUV, she's talking about going to get ice cream, and the baby's crying, but she's ignoring it. And she's driving into oncoming traffic. She's driving into the oncoming traffic here. And she's oblivious to it. And then Diana chases her down, tries to get her to change course, but they're about to hit a truck. And Diana stops the two vehicles from colliding. I hope the driver wasn't killing. It's pretty lucky he didn't go straight out of that and right into the other truck and the other vehicle. And then afterwards, she doesn't remember what happened, and she's saying, I'd never endanger my baby. Oh, I don't know what happened, all that. And then we go to this prison, and there's a riot, and some prisoners have taken over a section of the prison. Wonder Woman shows up. She goes in to pacify them, and they all have glowing eyes. And, obviously there's some mind control at work here. And then this guy shows up, and he commands them all to stop fighting. They're obeying him. He's controlling them, and he's got a bleeding nose. A bleeding nose. So, I think we all know who this is. And then he commands them all to kill themselves, and they do. And yeah, it's Maxwell Lord. And, he's like, Wonder Woman, are you here to save the day or kill me? That entirely depends on you. And yeah, that's it. And then there's some more pages. They give a preview of this young adult Wonder Woman novel. Tempest, Tossed, who cares? I'm not reading it. And this is one of the things about the New 52 and the reboot, is I'm not clear on what's canon anymore and what's not. So I guess Wonder Woman didn't kill Maxwell Lord in this current timeline the way she did in the pre-52 timeline, because she killed Maxwell Lord back right before the Infinite Crisis storyline in, that was 2005. And then 2011 or so, about 6 years later, they did the New 52. So I guess he's alive again, and I guess he never killed her, or she never killed him. Maybe she just captured him and he went to jail, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, it's just, this is just kind of par for the course. This is what comics are now. Look, the introduction. This introduction is 5 pages long, just to tell us who Diana is, basically. To tell us who she is. In the old days, this could have been done in, a 2-page spread, like this. You probably could have done something like this in a 2-page spread and just gotten the same effect. But no, we get 5 pages, because why not? And, Diana, and again, we get this dull art, this dull dialogue. And you get these flat angles, and, and you get the sort of lame dialogue that's supposed to be funny, but it's not. And instead of seeming like a superhero adventure, this feels more like a lame sitcom. And then they go to and now Diana doesn't understand furniture stores. She's having trouble. Diana has been in man's world for a while now. I don't know exactly how long. We don't get specific dates. They're always hazy with timelines, with actual dates in comics. But I think it's safe to say several years, maybe 10 years. My point is, she's been in the modern world long enough that she should know, this isn't the first furniture store she's been to. Surely. You can't just have her be this fish out of water forever. It reminds me of, those Crocodile Dundee movies from the 90s, or I'm sorry, the 80s. It was in the 80s. They had Crocodile Dundee, which came out 84, 85, something like that. And it was this big surprise hit. And I assume most of you know what it is, but those who don't, it's a movie where this crocodile, this Australian guy who's like a hunter, who's lived his whole life like deep in the outback, basically like in the wilderness. He comes to New York City, and it's his first time in a big city. It's basically his first time experiencing the modern world. And it's a fish out of water story, and he doesn't understand traffic lights, he doesn't understand television or modern culture, all this stuff. And plus he's Australian going to America, so there's that too. But the humor is derived because he's this fish out of water character. And then that was a big hit. Then they did a second one, and that did okay. It wasn't as big a hit as the first one. Then they did a third one, and I believe that one pretty much flopped. But the third one came like 7 or 8 years after the first one. But they're still trying to do the same bit, where it's like he doesn't understand anything. He doesn't know how stuff works. And he's been in the modern world like 7 or 8 years now. You'd think he pretty much would understand stuff. Like there's a scene where he goes to a drive-thru. He goes to a fast food drive-thru, and he doesn't understand how the drive-thru works. He doesn't understand how to order. He can drive. He's got a vehicle. He knows how to drive, but he doesn't know how a drive-thru works. Come on. And this is kind of the same thing. It's like, I think she would know by now. And anyway, and this is what? This is, so what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 10, 11. So we're 11 pages in now. And basically we've just gotten a bunch of dialogue. And then finally, we kind of get some action when the SUV takes off. And this page isn't bad. The panels are kind of nice. This angle here on Diana where she's running, that's kind of good. But then the rest of this is just, it's just kind of bleh. And this is like the worst panel. I mean, how do you take Wonder Woman running down a speeding vehicle on foot in oncoming traffic and make it this dull? I mean, it's just this flat, straightforward angle. You've got the traced vehicles, obviously. It's just not, it's not exciting. It doesn't draw you in. It's just kind of there. It just feels, it doesn't feel like a lot, no real thought or creativity was gone or went into this panel. I mean, this is what most comics are now, generally. It's dull storytelling. And, and then we get here, and at this point, it's, oh, that's nice. Well, how about that? So it came apart. Great. So what, 11, so what, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So we're 17 pages into the issue now before the plot really even gets going. And this part is just, what, 5 pages? It's, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 pages. So, I mean, this is barely a backup story. And then the rest of this stuff before, Jesus. The rest of this is just filler. It's just taking up space. Now, I think, Michael Janin, I think, he's not a bad artist. He's got talent. His figure work, is generally pretty good. He makes Wonder Woman look the way she should. She looks heroic and she looks sexy. I mean, look at that. I mean, that looks good. Wonder Woman looks really great there. But, his backgrounds, his backgrounds are solid for the most part. But just his compositions, his pages, they're just not very exciting. They just don't draw you in, he's a good example, I think, of why comic art is generally kind of dumb. Because I think, most of the people who are working on comics now, they did not grow up on the comics. They didn't grow up reading comics. They grew up seeing superheroes in movies. They grew up seeing superheroes on TV. So that's their influence. So that's what they try to imitate. They didn't grow up reading George Perez. They didn't grow up reading, Todd McFarlane or Jim Lee, for that matter. And so that's not their influence. Their influence is the movies and the TVs they've seen. If most of these artists today, I bet you, if they think of Spider-Man, they don't think of John Romita's Spider-Man. They don't think of Todd McFarlane's Spider-Man or Mark Bagley's Spider-Man. They think of Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. That's Spider-Man to them. They don't think of, if they think of Batman, they don't think of Jim Apato's Batman or Neil Adams's Batman or Frank Miller's Batman or Graham Nolan's Batman. They think of Tim Burton's Batman or, more likely, Christopher Nolan's Batman. And so their pages, they just kind of look like storyboards for a TV show or a sitcom, because that's what they think of. And it just makes, in comic book form, it just makes for dull storytelling. Anyway, yeah, I mean, this is a thumbs down. You can skip it. So, have you read this issue? And if so, what did you think? Let me know in the comments. And if you found this video informative, please do hit the like button before you go. Also, please subscribe to the channel and hit the bell for notifications. And I will see you all next time. Thanks for watching.